Hey, good morning, guys. This is your host, Bobby Davis here. Hey, listen, folks, I appreciate y'all joining us this morning. I want to take a moment to talk with you a little bit about today's guest. We are privileged to have Mr. Richard Walsh in our studios this morning. Richard, guys, is the CEO of Sharpen the Spear Coaching. Richard is a 30-year seasoned entrepreneur. He's also a best-selling author of Escape the Owner Prison, The Contractor's New Way to Scale, Regain Control, and Fast-Track Growth While Loving Life. I tell you what, guys, we are in for a treat today as Richard will weave his years of experience in the military as well as in business and his humor into this conversation today around wellness and leadership. So join me today as we take an opportunity to welcome Richard Walsh to our studio audience. So Richard, you were telling me that you way out in Wisconsin, right?
Way out in the bottom of Wisconsin. So I guess way out might be the top of Wisconsin, super north, but yeah. Kind of at the bottom, what we call the gateway to Wisconsin, Beloit, Wisconsin. It's a great place.
Wow. Has Wisconsin always been home for you, or is this just...
No, I'm a Chicago guy.
Chicago?
Yeah,
nice.
I'm a Chicago guy, so you can tell by the accent. They don't have this accent in Wisconsin. They're talking about cows and stuff in Wisconsin.
I was getting ready to say that earlier, right? You sound like you were a North dude, sort of.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So you like cold weather states, man. I am, and I know we were talking a little earlier. I was kind of intrigued that your temperatures out in Wisconsin right about now still you sit around the 90s, right?
It's hot right now.
So 90s, you go from 90s in the wintertime to what? What do you go in the wintertime?
Well, man, we hit 20 below. We've had 30 plus below without the wind chill. Like straight up, like go out, it's chilly.
Yeah.
Okay.
My goodness.
I might even put a jacket on, because it's that cold.
I can't even imagine, man. I'm a Southern boy and I like these temperatures here. We don't get too bad of winters here, but for the most part, the summers can be brutal. But other than that, man, that northern weather. Woo!
Well, I spent a lot of time in the desert. So here's this. So like we moved to Arizona like my senior year of high school. So I did that and then went in the Marine Corps after that. Okay, right after that, 17, I went in the Marine Corps and that was all desert. Okay, before desert training was cool. We're talking 83. Okay, so like no one was thinking about desert. We were in it all the time. And then I got out and went back to Arizona. So now you're talking 115, and in the summer and all this stuff. And I created a business and did all that. But I'm like, I'm going back to Chicago. And it wasn't just for the weather, you know, because the desert goes from light brown to dark brown. That's your season change. At least here I get snow and then green and then whatever fall, and that's all nice. But but I really wanted to come back to Chicago because I knew the area, I knew where the money was, I knew who could appreciate what I'm doing, what I was creating and building. That's why I came back and just built a life there. 08, 09, we lost everything. Like a lot of people had to move. Yeah. So I said, well, we'll get out of Illinois. I was kind of tired of Illinois anyways. And we jumped across the border to Beloit.
Wow. Man, that's interesting, man. You got, you certainly have a lot of experiences and what I'd like to do is for us to, cause you kind of already talked a little bit about your military experience and stuff, but we want to make sure today that we give our audience an opportunity to learn more about you. If you can just give us a condensed version. I mean, you've been in the military, U.S. Marine. Just tell us a little bit more about your history, and then we'll go ahead and dive right into today's show topic.
Yeah, we'll kind of start right there. So I, again, went to the Marine Corps at 17 years old, got out, started working, created the business. There's a whole little story to that, but got into business for myself. I kind of saw that as the path of me being successful. Wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, if you know what I mean. I barely graduated high school with a massive 1.7 grade point average. Okay. Went in the Corps. So to some people be considered dumb, but I've done okay. That was my superpower. I don't do that. So did that, built this business, came back to Chicago. Like I said, built it for about 20 years. 08, 09 hits. Now I'm married with 6 kids under 4 years old. Okay. So I'm like, everything's collapsing around me. All right. So not to get too deep in that, but there was a lot to it, right? I built custom water features and steel sculpture. I was an internationally recognized steel sculptor. I'm one of the finest water feature builders in the country. I built over 1,000 of these things and killing it, making a ton of money, doing all the good stuff. But I wasn't really paying attention to the business, Bobby. Like the business stuff, the stuff that's really horrible to do. No one wants to do it.
I
Yeah,
know.
well, I didn't want to do it either. But I was making great things and I was out doing the next great thing and all that. And then 0809 came, and November 5th of 2008, I lost $500,000 on that day. That was the beginning of my cliff, and it continued to crumble by early, mid 09. It was like time to get out. Here's the cool thing of it, and I'll throw this in there. 6 little kids, right? I come home, they attack me, they love me, they're crawling, they're doing this whole thing. And then I'm losing everything. I'm trying to do all these dumb things to keep the business afloat, and it's just getting worse. I woke up one morning, had an epiphany, and I'm thinking, my kids don't care what kind of truck I drive or how many I have. They don't care what kind of house I live in. They don't care what I do for a living. None of that, man. All they wanted was for me to be around. Okay. And I wasn't. I'm leaving early, coming home late, doing all this stuff because business is first. I have awards. I'm on TV. I'm in magazines. I'm in all this stuff. I'm on committees for the city of Chicago. I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm like, that became my identity. So I'm like, I can't lose that because that's who I am.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if I lose that, then I'm nobody.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people can relate to that. But so I started thinking, if I stay on this path where business is first, I'm going to ruin my children's futures.
Yep.
They're going to have broken marriages, failed relationships, right? Maybe they'll do good at business, but seeing that I didn't, they probably won't either, right? Because more is caught than taught with kids. So they're only going to see what you do as a father, okay, and a mother, okay? They're only going to see what you do. So I got out of bed. I walked in the office and said, we're done today. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I went to my construction yard. My guy's been with me over 10 years, same guys. We had our last cup of coffee. And I said, guys, I'm done. We can't do this anymore. And I'm also an all or nothing guy. So it's been 16 years and I haven't built a water feature or done a sculpture since.
Really?
I had to move on. Yeah, it wasn't easy. I had to figure out what I was going to do.
I can imagine. So oh man, I'm so glad, Richard, you shared that because there's so much in that information you just talked about, right? That you just shared. And I want to start because today what we want to do is we want to talk about obviously how to lead more effectively, and how leaders can strike balance and be able to still obtain success without compromising, your health, your well-being, your family, and all of these other things that come along with trying to be successful. But I heard you say something that I thought was really interesting, right? You talked about how your business had become your identity. And I hear that so often. And quite frankly, I've experienced it. I experienced it many years ago. And I know exactly what you're talking about, but can you take a moment to maybe drill down on that a bit?
Yeah.
How do we get to that place where the thing that we do becomes who we are, so to speak?
Well, in the simplest term, when you meet someone, you and I meet each other and we're talking. So what do you do?
Yep.
That question is like never left out of a conversation. So I want to know what you do because to me, that's who you are. If I tell you I'm a water feature builder and steel sculptor, what am I? I'm a water feature builder and steel sculptor.
Yeah.
You don't ask about my family. You don't like, okay, whatever, all that stuff. Like, what else do you do? Do you love the Lord? Do you like, it's just like, oh, that's who you are.
Yeah.
That's what I do. When I need that done, I'm going to call you. Okay. So put on top of it a little bit of fame and success, start making money. Like, and you could be me, Mr. 1.7 GPA, who all of a sudden has made $1 million, made more millions, and then start like, I'm that guy, right? Just because I work hard and I do all this stuff. But the problem is you want to maintain that. So people, it's ego and pride, Bobby. That's all it is. It's ego and pride, and that's what does it. I built that. I did this. Everything was me in the business. Right. So if you're a business owner, really easy to get sucked into what you do. Or if you're a high level employee working for someone, you're in the C-suite, you're whatever, you're a top producer, that is going to give you validation to who you are and what you do, right? And so when I realized that, like I realized that identity was a problem, and I literally have video of me like burning all my uniforms, brand new out of the.
Really?
Well, yeah, I'm like, I will never be owned by my business again. I will never. It will only serve me.
Mm,
And the problem with the identity aspect is it makes you make all kinds of bad decisions,
yep. Yep.
like really stupid stuff,
Yep.
and that's what ego does. That's what pride does. That's why it's not a good thing.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So that's probably it in a nutshell. If that
No,
works.
man, I love it. I'm just immersed in what you're saying because I've lived that myself. And you don't know, and I don't think that you start out with that intent. I just think that I know for me, I had struck a measure of success at a high level. And when I struck that measure of success, and I was really the first to do it in my family, it came where I still needed it came at a time where I felt like I still needed more character development as a leader because there's one thing that, we pray and ask God to bless us and to bestow his blessings upon us, right? And we want all these things from the Lord, right? But what God knows is he knows whether or not you have the character to be able to sustain what it is that he's going to give you. So sometimes he don't answer those prayers, right? He don't answer the prayers because he knows we're not ready. What's interesting is I realize that this is common when you do experience success, and it's also the road that leads to burnout for leaders, where you crash and burn, right? You not only the business suffers, but at some point when you've built your identity around it and it's become who you are, and you have success, you have people patting you on the back, you have all this stuff thrown at you, right? You start believing your own hype, and then it takes something like a market crash, something like that, an event to change everything for you. And just like you, it changed it for me in that same time frame. Experienced the same thing, similar. And what's
It's
interesting, yeah. Now go ahead, go
no,
ahead.
no. I was going to say that it's horrible during the process.
Right,
That away when it's terrible, But you look back and go, "What? Nothing else could have happened. I needed
right,
exactly that."
yeah,
Because you talk about God's time, and He knows. He's like, this dude is so thick. I have to take everything away from him. I can't give him little hints. I can't bring billionaires into his life to give him advice. He doesn't listen. He's an
yeah,
idiot. Okay, like all these people like trying to help me because they love me and they love what I do and they want to see me be even more successful. Well, I don't need their help.
yeah.
Again, ego
That's
and
it.
pride. You don't build water features. You just own professional sports teams and manufacturing plants. What do you know? I built ponds,
Right.
like that was the level that I operated at, just I call it the level of stupidity.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Now,
it really is. It really is. But once you come through it and you come out on the other side, then you begin to realize that we can do nothing apart from God. And when we make him first, we put him first, then he gives us those things that he know that we're ready for. And he helps us throughout the process. And see, that's what I had to learn the hard way. Because see, you're right. You could get caught up in pride and all these other things, and you just start thinking you believe your own hype. And eventually you need to crash and burn to a certain extent in order for you to realize that that's not the correct path to be on. Because I'm just listening at what you're saying, and I'm like, man, you're right. The Lord was like, man, if I let this dude get connected with some billionaires and stuff, man, he might not
right,
even be here today.
right.
About because you just so into yourself and what you're doing, and you don't pay attention to what you're becoming along the way, right? And that's what God's more interested in is what you're becoming. Are you becoming more prideful in your business? Has this business become your place of refuge and how you
Your idol.
identify yourself? And see, that's what we become without knowledge that we're becoming that, unless we realize that our business need to flow from a position of God and him giving us our assignment and him being the CEO of our lives, right? And guiding us. And see, that's the thing I had to learn. So now it's a different shit. Because going into what I wanted to talk to you more about was how this very thing, this lack of balance led me to a position over time where it started to affect my health. And I got severely obese and just was just miserable, man, and suffering from depression and everything, right? But God delivered me, but I saw how I got there because I didn't have balance. And can you maybe speak more to that as it pertains to leaders and them understanding about the importance of balance?
Yeah, so like kind of like you. Okay, I had same thing. All that stress building up in 08, 09. I went to 299 pounds.
Mm.
So my only claim is I didn't hit 300. Okay. I caught it at 299 and I'm sticking to
Yeah.
that story. Okay. Now, as people say, well, you hold it well. No, dude, I am a 300-pound land tuna. That's what I am, like I am, this is not who I am, so I got on my rower and, so then I started that journey back and that was in the beginning of '09. I'm like, I can't be this unhealthy. So similar to you, man, parallel to that, what what I realized at that time, I'm like, okay, I got to do that because it does affect your performance.
Mhm.
Anyone that says it doesn't. Matter of fact,
Yep.
this is kind of a weird little thing. So I'm at this church after I moved and everything else, and the pastor's got me in like I like to call it, the principal's office for something I did or said. And then he's talking to me about, I'm talking about health with these kids. We're doing Awana, and I got these 12-year-olds, whatever, and we're talking about milk. They asked me about milk.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now we're Wisconsin, America's Dairyland.
Right.
Okay, so milk, it's a touchy subject. So I'm like, well, I said, well, let me just explain what milk is, homogenized, and it's all this stuff, right? So I'm telling them like the process of that kind of milk compared to like raw milk. And I'm giving, here's raw milk, and this is what it does for your body and everything else. Homogenized and all this stuff actually draws calcium from your bones. It does not put calcium into your bones. Okay, it's a lie. Total lie. It's a marketing scam. So the more of that milk you drink, the worse your bones are going to get. In the industrialized world, all the worlds who are Western drinking that kind of milk have the highest levels of osteoporosis.
Really?
Okay. China doesn't even have a word for milk or osteoporosis, right? I mean, they're like, they've never experienced it because they don't do dairy. Right. So it's that kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, so I just shared with the kids. No big deal. We had a little lesson. So I get pulled in the office. And he's like, listen, we going to drink milk. I go, I didn't tell them not to drink milk. They asked him, like, what's the difference?
Right.
So I just gave him the stats. Okay, this is what it is. And he said, this thing on health. I go, well, a lot of people are, I look around and there's a lot of pregnant men, meaning they look like they're 9 months pregnant. This is before they thought men could be pregnant, right? So, but I'm like, they're like, grossly overweight.
Yeah.
He goes, well, have you ever considered they're more focused on the Lord?
Ah,
And that is, I just went, I go, you're kidding. He was a West Pointer. Okay.
really?
Captain, Desert Storm, but, and I'm just gonna throw this out to you West Pointers, if you're listening, you can be mad, but I'm telling you, you're all control freaks. Okay. And this guy was like 10x the normal. Okay. And he's the pastor and stuff, right? So, and I said, no, how about they could serve the Lord better if they're fit?
Come
I mean,
on.
they're in
Come on.
health. I'm like, do that. How about that?
Come
I mean,
on, bro.
you cannot go to the wall for these guys because they're obese. Like that is, I'm like, I just look at them like, so there's more to that. But this thing was so again, back to that. I'm like, no, health is like, this is how you actually thrive. I don't mean I got to be
Yes.
Arnold. Okay, I don't have to be like, Mr. 6, 8-pack, whatever. Like, I'm talking about like it's part of my lifestyle. I get my
Yes.
workouts, I go to the gym 5. I eat properly. I bring in the right food. We cooked all our food. We homeschooled our kids, right? So homeschool them all the way through. So we're making food all the time. It's a restaurant at my house. Okay. Like I tell people, my kids, like they come out in the morning. I'm like, well, what do you want? I have 6 kids. They all get to order whatever they want. Oh, you spoil your kids. I go, no, I don't. I said they eat exactly what I make them because they
That's
ask
right.
for it,
That's
and
right.
I can cook.
Oh
Okay, you want
man.
an omelet? You want this? You want eggs? You want this? Hey, okay, I got some Kodiak pancakes, man, high protein. Let me tool those up for you. Like, but like, I don't care. I
Yeah,
stand there and
yeah.
work a big kitchen counter. It's like being in a restaurant. I don't care. I love it, man. My kids eat it. They love it. They never ate out. Plus,
Wow.
at that time, 8 kids, 8 of us going to a restaurant. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a big bill.
Right. I
There's
bet.
there's no getting out cheap ever. Okay, so so is that kind of thing. So that would became kind of our lifestyle. What we do, juicing, doing all this
Yeah, yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
really build on that. And I see I'm performing now as I start coaching businesses and doing all this stuff that I do. I didn't come up with this, but basically I put this framework in place. It's called the 5 F's, as in Frank. Okay, so it's faith, it's family, it's finances, it's fitness, and it's friendships.
There you
Okay,
go.
so when people talk about balance in business, okay, those 5 F's are like important. I'll walk through them, but I also tell them if your business is like a hot mess, if you're in what I call the owner prison. Okay, I wrote a book called Escape the Owner Prison, right?
Yeah.
Because it owns you. I said,
Yep.
you don't get access to the 5 F's
Yep. You're right.
because business, and I'm just going to use this term, business is a mistress. Okay.
Mm.
It will call you at night in your mind,
Mm.
right? You can be thinking about it. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
want you to stay and not leave. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's wants you to get there early so it has
Yep.
more time with you, right?
Yep.
It wants all of that. You know how many businesses ruin families?
Yep.
They
A lot.
destroy families, right?
Yep.
Because again, let's go back to the balance part. They don't have the balance, Bobby. But once they get the business running right, and we'll stop at that, like fix it. Okay, it runs itself. That's cool. I can do my thing. Now we can go faith. And this is in this order for a reason. Above all, God first.
That's right.
Above my wife, above my kids, above everything.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, God is first. Okay, so that has to be, and these are not equal. When people think balance, they think, well, I got 50 over here and 50 over here. No, it doesn't work like that. Balance is each one has its allotted time
That's right.
that you
That's right.
consistently address, right? And faith
Yes.
is, well, faith could be all the time, right? We're supposed to pray unceasingly, right?
That's
That
right.
whole thing. David did it. He's
Mm-hmm.
running kingdoms and
Yep.
heading wars and everything else. He's seen to pull
Yep.
it off. And we're worried about having a business and not being okay. So like there's really no excuse, right? Just go to the Bible and see it can be done. And you can also be a murderer and an adulterer and a sinner
Yep.
and all that stuff too at the same
Yep.
time. He's a busy guy. Okay. So and a man after God's own heart. So like think about that. Like we could spend a whole session just on that. This is really cool. But so the faith part has to be strong, right? It has to be strong with you, then your wife, okay, or husband, wherever you're coming from here, and then the children, right? In that order. Like my wife is prioritized over the children. This is critical.
Right.
I'm not
Come
raising
on.
tyrants. Little kid
Come
runs
on.
up, want to interrupt my wife and I having a conversation. What? Wait. Your mom and I finish, and then you can,
Yep.
okay. And they stand there and do, all right, well, what do you got? And then they tell us, I'm like, that is order.
Yep. I
God
love
is the
it.
God of order and systems.
I love
Okay.
it.
You don't get to jump ahead of the line. Imagine doing that all the time, what your kid will turn out to be. Whew, I don't want any of that. My kids are not like that. And they're like adults now, upper teens, 20s.
Right. Right.
So there's your faith component, right? You find a great church, you get the community, right? You're really around believers and it's really good. And then we go faith and we go family. And we kind of just talked about family a little bit, but that's important. Are you giving them quality time? It's not the amount of time, it's the quality of time. Are the screens down, this stuff off? Yeah, go ahead.
Let me jump in right here, Richard, because you just dropped a bomb right there. Right?
I'm good at that.
We got so much to just try and unpack just in this piece that you just dropped. Now, what's interesting is something that I captured doing what you just said. Each of these categories have one thing that we have to make sure that we do, and that's allot time for. When you're out of balance, if you're out of balance in these areas, in any of these areas, because of your business or because of whatever it is that you're doing, it's going to show up. There will be symptoms that will show up. And so when I think about what you were sharing about, how we wake up thinking about the business, we go to bed thinking about the business, and we got this affection towards the business that it pulls the time away from us. that we don't have even to pray, to
Right.
spend time with the Lord, spend time with family, because the business becomes, again, we're consumed by it. And so I wanted us to stop there for a moment, because you said something that made so much sense, but it makes a lot of sense and it's simple. It's time, the allocation of time. It's not, and you know what time you are allocating more to what area. And that's how you become out of balance. And I want to go back again, because you said something, but I just wanted to let you rip, but I had to go back and say this part, right?
I just want you to take notes. I'm just making you take notes. That's all.
Nah, man, you got, it's no way we're going to get all this in just the next 15, 20 minutes, man. It's too much. But listen, when you said something about being in the principal's office at the church pastor, right? I love your humor. I love the way you communicate and how you paint these stories that we can relate to. Now, you had mentioned about the men looking like, some of them look like they was pregnant, right? How we're not spending enough time dealing with the wellness aspect of life. And I wanted to ask you something, and that's your opinion about this. And I'm not being judgmental here, but some of the most unhealthy people are in the church, or you find in the church. And I always used to wonder why, when we have access to God's word, we have access to this relationship with him, but we're some of the most unhealthy people. Your opinion on that, man. What do you think?
Well, if you're in church, look straight ahead at the pulpit and the guy standing behind it and say, why don't you address this biblically? Why is this not something that our church, like those guys who are like 9 months pregnant, I was talking about, like
Yep.
they gotta open carry, okay, their weapon, because they certainly
Yep.
can't conceal carry. They never
Right.
get it out, right? Because it's what they call Dunlap disease, right? Their belly's done lapped over their belt, and their weapon, so they can't.
Right.
So you look at that, I'm like, well, I'm glad they're carrying. That's cool. I did when I'm concealed, like you don't know I'm carrying, right? But I really think, and I'm not like blaming particular pastors. I just
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that they don't share this, and you could weave this. I mean, as I'll go from what I know, the male point of view, right? We have to be providers, we have to be protectors, we have to be a priest. Okay? These are things that have to be in our family. Now, your ability to protect is going to be limited to
Right.
your level of health. So I tell
Right.
people this: when I train, I work out. I was talking about my workout this morning. I have to train for two. If something goes down, can I carry my wife down 3 flights of steps? If I got to go a half mile down the road and carry, what if I
Mm,
got to get out of a situation? My children, I have 6 kids.
mm,
One time we had a tornado hitting. It's like midnight. It's right coming out, and like I had to get all 6 of my kids to the basement, like out of bunk beds, like reaching over and grabbing these 50-pound bags, okay, known as children or whatever. You're like, come on, we gotta, and all the way around, down the stairs, back up, grab another one. I can only carry so many, right? So like that's a little thing. But if you don't have you can't just be about you. Okay. You need that. I mean, I don't know how much more motivation you need. Can you imagine not being able to do that and you lose? Either I don't have a grabber going down the stairs and check out and oh yeah, I'll kill my whole family. Okay, because I didn't work out. Whoops, it's just like I just try to put in these terms like you have to really understand this. Like it's a big deal. Like we have these responsibilities, and as women, let's talk to the women. Listen, my wife homeschooled, homemaker, unbelievable, right? She has energy beyond, like she makes me look like a sluggard. Okay. I
mm.
mean, but she just go, but she has to, right? She has things to do. She has to protect her. She's doing the same thing, right? So every day stuff's going on. My wife's making fresh bread every day and doing all like baking. I'm like, I come home like this is unbelievable. I go to work to relax, okay? Because there's just so much going on at home. I'm like, man, I come here, it's just another workout. You know what I mean? Like keeping up with everything. So, but it's really important that this health thing. We had a saying in the Marine Corps: if you're not fit, you're not fit to lead.
Mm.
And
Say that
fitness,
again.
if you're
Say
not
that again.
if you're not fit, you're not fit to lead.
That's powerful.
Okay. Now remember, it's just not physical. Are you mentally fit?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm telling you, if anyone, you'll never win this argument that your health and your mental fitness is not connected.
Come on.
I
Come
mean,
on, bro.
I'll just walk away.
Yes.
I
Yes.
won't even give you a response. I'm like, dude,
Mm.
this day and age, I mean, there's enough information out there, but you
Yes.
can't tell me like you're as sharp now as when you were, 20 and fit, or at least not carrying an extra 150 pounds or whatever, and again, I'm not throwing people under the bus here. I just want real talk. I like people like you did. You and I both had that awakening,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It took me like
Yep.
losing everything. Now I'm not fit. I'm like, I am a wreck of a man. Like nothing was good. I'm like
No.
I did everything wrong. Everything. I'm losing my business, and I try to save my business, and I lose even more money. I go on more, and then I'm more unhealthy, and I'm like, there's nothing. And Bobby, at this time, I wasn't even a born again believer. Okay. So like I
Wow.
started out, grew up as a Mormon,
Yeah.
left at like 16, 17, went the way of the world. A friend of mine started bringing me back to church. Okay. I'm air quoting church. So I'm doing the Christian thing. I was what you call a Cino. A Cino is Christian in name only, kind of like a rhino, in the
Yeah.
political thing, right? So I'm literally I'm going to church. I'm in this big church. There's 1,000, 2,000 people. We're in the gym watching it on the screen because the church is so big. Oh, look at all these Christians. Meanwhile, the pastor, going back to that, never once had an altar call. Never once talked about being saved. And I'm
What?
like, and you're planting churches. I'm like, this dude, you're gonna pay. You are held to
Crazy.
a higher standard, man. When I'm like, oh, dude, I feel terrible for him. I
Yeah.
still do. I'm not even there.
Yeah.
I'm like 16 years. I'm like, dude, you aren't saving a soul. You're doing popcorn sermons, and just, oh, you feel good and you leave. And you got all your little programs. It's churchianity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the business of church.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, nice cafe. Oh, nice this, nice that. Your name's on the sign out there. That's really cool, right? Oh, yeah. I guess it's all about you. No wonder I don't
Yep.
hear about God. It's about you. It's
Yep.
wonderful. It's a good thing we got your name out front.
Yep.
Like that's cool. So I'm sorry, man. I get going, but
No, man. No,
but
listen. No.
but it comes from the pulpit. That's my point, right? So I had to go through all that. Then finally, I had to. Remember the guy who brought me in the principal's office? Talked to him. Well, I'm like on my computer one day, Bobby. I'm like typing. My wife goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm sending an email to Pastor Tim." She goes, "What for?" I go, "Well, about being saved." She goes, "Well, what about it?" I go, "Well, everyone's got this date. Everyone's been saved." I go, "I don't have a date. What does this actually mean?" And I go, "Do you have a date?" My wife goes, "Yeah," and she gives me her date. And I'm like, "Well, see, you got one." She looks at me. She goes, "I don't even know you." I'll go, "See, I played the game. I played the Christian game. I was a Cino. My wife thought I was saved." Okay, now by this time we had been married, what was it, 11, 12 years. She didn't know I wasn't saved.
Hmm.
Okay, like,
You
okay.
said you sent the pastor a note.
Yeah, so because he was a seminary guy, which is
Yeah.
another problem. We'll talk about that some other time. But so I what does this mean? Like being saved. Of course, he can't give me a 2-line answer. He does a dissertation. Okay. And I'm like, totally confused me even more. I'm like, well, okay, do whatever. So, we changed it, but I found out what it actually meant, went through that, and like, okay, I get it. Now I get it. And and I was in my 40s. And that was I 40 something. Was I 40, whatever it was, 4? But now I'm like, this is way different. And now we got connected with real believers. Now, and I started diving into the word every
Mm.
day. I have not missed a day right now in 9 years. I got a
Yeah.
9 year streak every day in the word, doing this stuff every morning I get before I do the whole thing. But you get it? It's like, I'm telling you, it's from the pulpit.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
That's why you're being misled
yeah, yeah.
health
No,
wise.
you're right, man. And I've seen that. Unfortunately, I'm listening at you, and again, you dropping these bombs, right? And I'm totally relating because I've seen that myself. It's unfortunate that we see that in the church, and obviously, it doesn't help to see that, when you seeing large churches, but any church just not operating in a way that in terms of how God called us in the mission. It's so much that you have just shared right then, man, that I'm sitting here thinking about this, right? And I'm thinking about the getting back to, the ministry aspect, right? And the correlation between, our well-being, our overall well-being. When we began to look at wellness, it's not, like you said, it's just not from a physical standpoint, but there's a mental and spiritual component to this. And all of those areas have to be addressed and time spent in addressing in all of those areas, because what I noticed for myself was, and I'm just speaking for myself, when my business and my business life had just wreaked havoc on my spiritual life and my mental space, as well as my physical space, because I had misplaced time. I put too much time into it. And as a result of that, it took me down this path where I began to see deficiencies in the physical, which is why I was a member of the 300 plus club. I know you said,
I just couldn't get there. I tried.
yeah.
I just,
No,
I just,
you
I stopped short.
299, right?
Yeah,
So
I
we'll let
stopped
you go
short.
with the 299. I was a full-fledged member of the 300 plus club for a
I'm
minute.
proud of you. I'm proud of you. No.
So
Okay.
I reached the pinnacle, and I got a T-shirt. I got a T-shirt to show that I was there. It's a
Yeah.
triple X.
I use it as drapes now. I use it as drapes.
Yeah. We cover up a whole window and stuff with that shirt. But it's interesting how I got this insight, and I had to go through a crash and burn season, right? And through that crash and burn season, what God did to help me to correct all of the other deficiencies that I had, is He started with me in the spiritual realm first. You know how we were talking about earlier, how you can get caught up in and your business becomes your identity. But now that the business is gone, you don't have it. You crashed and burned. The doesn't exist anymore. Who are you? Who are you now? Can you answer the question? And for me, my road to recovery started with that question. Well, God, who am I? I don't have the business anymore, so I can't relate to that. So who am I? And as he began to unpack that, the who am I question not only helped to take me into a deeper relationship with him, but as a result of going into a deeper relationship with him, I saw, guess what? My health be restored. After trying every diet on the books, everything known to man, I tried, and I could not lose weight. And I knew that my health issues were the result of being grossly obese. And I could never get it to work. I could never lose weight. I would lose some and then I would pick it back up. So here's what happened. I started in the spiritual realm first because I said, God, I need to be well in this. I know my relationship with you is not where it should be. And he began to not only help to show me who I am and my purpose, but those deficiency areas, my weight, I lost 100 pounds, all of my health issues eradicated. Now that not only did he do that, but he gave me another business. And here's the thing about this other business now. When it's time for me to shut it down, I shut it down. When it's time for me to work, I work. I'm not consumed by it on the weekends. I'm not spending time with it over spending time with my wife, my family. I never had that before, man. But it started in the spiritual realm first.
Well, I'm with you. Spiritual warfare, that's it, right? That's a way I can be fit. Listen, I'm a Marine. I'm a champion boxer. I'm a black belt. I can shoot that. I can do all this stuff. People aren't going to hurt me for the most part. I'm going to do the hurting. Okay.
Right.
But spiritual warfare, man, you're up against Satan. You think
Yeah.
Satan wants you to be healthy and fit?
Nah.
You
Nah.
think he wants you? No, of course. So like, let's tie it into that.
Yep.
I'll say the devil's feeding you. He's feeding you these lies that it doesn't matter, right? He's taking you out of the game. Because
That's what he's
again,
doing.
when we go back to the health part affects your mind, okay? You can't be overly spiritual. You know what I mean? You're not going to, because you have fatigue, you have all these other ailments, and it's going to pull you away from the Word of God.
That's
It
right.
just is. I don't have time for that. I'm not going to go to this event. You don't understand how much it accumulates and prevents you from stuff from your relationship with God. Because
That's right.
and I'm speaking for myself. Okay. And when you get that weight, you develop some self-hatred,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Dude, and you
Yep.
think that's what God wants? Yeah, please hate yourself because I made you. Like I
Mm.
made you, but you can change that. But that self-hatred, again, that's another tool of the devil.
Yep. That's it.
So
You're
it's like
right.
you don't understand the snowball effect. These people are like questioning like the health, not health. Again, not talking about being ripped super athlete stuff. I'm talking about like functional.
Yeah.
Just go look at pictures from the 70s and the 60s of people. No one's overweight. Even in school, okay, like when I was in school, like I'm just a little older than you, but you had like some kids with real disorders that were real heavy. Like,
Right.
they had all kinds of issues.
Right.
There
Right.
was
Right.
no obese kids.
Nope. Nope.
None of that stuff that wasn't happening. I was in a Starbucks with a trainer of mine, owned a gym, and they're taking a break at a Starbucks, and these high school kids are coming in left and right, and they're getting their 2,000 calorie coffees, okay, and they're walking out, and I'm going, they got every girl has muffin top, okay,
Yep.
every one of them, and I'm like, his name was Jake. I go, Jake, I know I'm older. He's 20. I go, I never would see this. I mean, first, girls weren't really showing that. They didn't have the dress, but they didn't have muffin tops, dude. This thing is unique. This is weird. And he started, and like I was like a week later, he goes, man, since you told me that, I see it everywhere. I go, it is. These are girls. I mean, because they're drinking calories. They're not working out. They don't do anything. They're too busy taking selfies, right? So they want to do that stuff. But it's a huge component of a life well lived.
Yes.
It just is, man. And it's a God loving life because God put you in this body. He didn't make a mistake.
No.
He didn't
No.
create you broken, and he didn't create you
No.
overweight,
No. No.
but
No. See that's so vital that you said that, Richard, because I think we disassociate the I think we disassociate for some reason, strange reason, because I don't hear enough talked about God wanting us to be well, and that God is interested in us functioning in our bodies as He designed them. Because the bodies He gave us, He designed these bodies. They're intricate and they're such marvelous creation, but we have been more involved in abuse of these bodies over time through the foods that we eat, the various bad habits that we have engaged in. And so I know for myself, I began to reap the harvest, so to speak, of those bad habits. So to get back to a place of well-being, I had to go back to the manufacturer. He's the one who created us, right? He formed us in our mother's womb. And as a result of that, he knows how our bodies are supposed to function and how important it is for us to have well-being. And when I say well-being, I'm talking about mind, body, spirit, operating at its highest level, right? And that when you are absent in either one of those areas, you're going to have some challenges and deficiencies, and they're going to rear its head. But the thing is, God wants us to be healthy. He wants us to. It's the thing you said about like, you don't have to have a six pack and be in the gym, lifting all this heavy weight, all this crazy stuff, right? It's just saying, okay, I want to be healthy so I can fulfill His purpose for my life. And I want to do this in moderation. And going back to the very first thing you said back at the very beginning of the show, and I'm hoping our audience catch this if they catch nothing else, it's allocation of time. It's taking the time to spend in these areas that creates well-being, a well-rounded person. And you can't forsake these areas. You actually talked about the 5 points, and I want you maybe to close us out by maybe talking more about the last 2 or 3.
Let's do that.
And because those points that you mentioned, I think if we could center our attention around those points, it can help us create that overall well-being because you encapsulated it in those 5 points.
Yeah. So one quick thing too on time. Everyone's busy. We get it, right?
Yep.
Everyone's
Yep.
so I have a little exercise I do with people. Okay, so everyone busy. I can't do that. I got busy. I got a business. I go, okay, well, you have less than 2 seconds. I need in less than 2 seconds. I need you to answer this question. Are you ready? So everybody listening, you got less than 2 seconds. I
Yep.
need you to answer this question. How many hours in a week? 1, 2. Yeah, you don't know. Okay.
Right.
So you tell me you don't have time. You don't even know how much time you have, but you don't have enough. Okay. 168, just for the record. Okay. So like, and I'm not going to go into the whole breakdown of that, and I could, and show you like you got a lot of time. I'm going to put it there. We all got a lot of time. We all waste time. Okay. The average employee wastes 2 hours per day at their job. 2 hours per day. Now, if you're a business owner, you're doing that math and you're getting really angry.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
you got
Yep.
20 hours a day times 5. That's 100 hours a week. I'm paying them $18 an hour. Holy. It's like there's a lot of money getting flushed down the toilet at my business. So, okay, but we're off that now. 5 F's. Let's go to this, use that to wrap up. We did faith. We talked about family. Okay. Then we go to finances. Money. Okay. One of the number one causes of divorce, problems, failure in business, right? Money. And here's the key. And I'll tell you from my own personal experience, there's a thing called Parkinson's Law. Okay. Parkinson's Law says that if your money doesn't have a place to go, specific place to go, it will evaporate. If I came up to you, Bobby, said, Bobby, you're just a good dude, man. Here's $100. Just because you're a good dude. You put it in your pocket and you go meet your buddy and you buy him lunch and you do all that. And then 2 days later, like, where'd that 100 go?
Yeah.
Did I have 100? You don't know what you do. You like spent it because you don't pay attention to it. It didn't go into your IRA. It's like, oh, here, let me go put this in my Roth. Hey, Richard gave me $100. I'll fund my retirement account with that. You're not doing that. Okay. So we have to pay attention to our money. It has to have a place to go. Like 10% here, you're going to tithe. You're going to tithe. Do you tithe? Okay, that's a place for your money to go. Every check, boom, your minimum 10%, right? You do that. So and when you do that, like anything, okay, don't pay attention to your spouse. What do you think will happen? Well, they'll leave. They'll evaporate. Don't pay attention to your friends. They'll leave. Don't pay attention to your money. It goes with them. Okay.
God.
So understand that from the finance standpoint. Like you have to be financially literate.
Yeah.
Because we're not taught that in any school. Okay.
Man, you know what? I've never heard anyone speak with such simplicity to something like that. And I think that just encapsulates the whole thing right there. Because the average person, for the most part, can't allocate where those funds are supposed to go. They don't know where they're supposed to go. A lot of times you got money, and that's amazing, man. That's a pretty interesting concept, but it's so true.
Yeah, it's important. From there, we go to fitness. We spend a lot of time on that, the importance of it. Okay. Fit to lead. Okay. You need to be fit to lead. This is a wellness and leadership podcast, man. You have to be fit to lead. So quick one on that. You're in a big conference. There's a stage and there's like 2 podiums up there. And then 2 guys walk out. One guy is your 400-pound land tuna. The other guy is this ripped Navy SEAL in the perfect shirt, the high-end tight, the whole thing coming out. Now he's this super business guy. And then they both do the little talk, and then everyone says, well, let's, who do you want to follow? Just get in line. Where do you think the long line's going to be?
The Navy SEAL dude.
Okay. And one guy tried to make an argument, unless the guy's really good at money and wealth and stuff like that. I go, why? Well, he's going to spend it all trying to get his health back. I go, he's not good. Okay. He's not good. He's a vision of unhealth. Okay. I'm not trading money for that. I'm not
Yep.
trading money for that. You mean I got to be that? I got to be that to be wealthy? You know,
Right.
like no. So the
That's
line,
not
be with that
appealing.
guy, right? And I go
Right.
that. So that's the last part of fitness. The last one's friendships. Like this is, and I have a joke with my kids, kind of my standing family joke. I said, listen, if I had all my real friends on one hand and I lost 3 fingers, I'd still have all my friends.
Mm.
Okay, because I don't have a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, and I only mean that in the sense I'm talking what I call trench buddies. Guys who got my 6, they're going to go to war.
Yep.
No matter
Yep.
what, these guys are never leave me. We can have the deepest conversations. We can talk about not just working out. We can talk about, we can talk about art. I'm an artist. Okay, I'm like an artist. I'm a writer. I do all this stuff. I'm not just Mr. I can rip your head off in like a half a second. It's not that, right? Though I can, but I'm balanced, right? I'm balanced with that stuff, right? So your friendships, again, if you don't pay attention to them, they go away.
You're
Do you
right.
have any deep friendships? And again, it's going to be a small circle, but then you have other circles, right? Closer friends, you got your church family, you keep going out, you have acquaintances, you have business people and stuff, but you have to cultivate all of these. You don't get to ignore them. But again, my real friends, like I have my best friend, we get together like once a year now. It's 3 days. We sit in his house and we talk and we catch up. We do a whole year's catch up in 3 days. We had the best time. I wake up in the morning and start the conversation again. And we're going deep on all subjects and everything else. And it's like, all right, but I'll see you next year. But we've climbed
Wow.
mountains together, fought together. We've done everything, right? Trained together, rode together. Like we had this whole period where we lived big, challenging ourselves all the time. And that's what created that bond. We suffered
Yeah.
together on real high levels, right?
Yeah.
And that builds great bonds. So that's the friend. So I'm not out looking to have if you can't tell by my tone and how I talk, I'm not looking for everyone to like me. It's probably never going to happen. And I'm okay with that. Okay.
No,
So,
no.
so
Look, a lot of what you've been talking about today, man, I can so relate to because my friends, I can count them on one hand. You're right. I mean, and you have to invest time and you have to cultivate these friendships. And I think we don't understand that. I mean, cultivating mean being there for that person, being intentional in your follow-up, being intentional and acknowledging them and helping them and trying to find ways to serve them because we always look at it from a one angle perspective when it comes to friendships. Oftentimes it's like, well, what are they doing for me? And and it's not so much, dual in nature that we're looking at what we can do for them, but those friendships that are mutual in that perspective, man, they last many, many years, many decades, and they are rare.
they
So
are
you
rare.
have to make sure that you're cultivating them. And when people tell me they got all these friends and stuff, I'm like, okay, are we talking about the same definitions of friends here? I'm talking about like,
Yeah.
because
I'm
you might
talking
have a lot of
Facebook.
acquaintances.
All right.
Yeah.
Like I got rid of all my social media. I got rid of it all. I don't
Yeah.
care. None of you are my friends.
Right.
Okay. None.
Right. Oh, I love it, man. But you, man, I could keep talking with you for about another 2 hours. We ain't
Yeah.
even got through half the things I needed to ask you, but
Part
let me
two.
just give you
Part
a
two
moment.
next time. We'll do part two.
We gotta do a
Yeah.
second run on this,
Yeah.
man. This is just no way I'm gonna let you get off the hook doing this one show, that's for sure. But listen, before we get ready to exit today, I did want you to talk more about what you do. I mean, if our folks haven't picked this up yet, you are a natural born leader, natural born coach. And it's just flows from who you are and just the way you communicate, the humor that you inject into the discussions. We know that that you're an author, but tell us more about that and tell our folks how they can reach you if they wanted to get in contact with you.
Yeah, you bet. So yeah, really, I work with businesses, right? I help them become more profitable. I help them systemize and build process in their business to free them from the owner prison, right? So the owner prison is that if you don't open the door, your business doesn't work. Pretty
Yeah.
simple, right?
Yep.
And most people can relate to that.
Yep.
You're on the golden hamster wheel. Like I tell people, they start a business, Bobby, you got to work really hard the first couple of years. There's no secret sauce not to do that. But the problem is you blink your eyes. Now 10 years has gone by. You've repeated the first 2 years 5 times. That's the hamster wheel.
Same
You're
thing.
making
You're
some
right.
money, but you're not growing. You're not doing that. You don't get all the vacations. You don't get the free time you got in business for to be with your family and everything else. You're trapped. So I help them free them from that. Okay. So I help them double profits. I help them recover lost profits they didn't even know were missing. Right.
Wow.
And I also I work a lot of manufacturing companies. I do frontline leadership training because me, again, I'm a jarhead. I'm a Marine. I get frontline. Okay. I understand how it works. So I go to the front line in these companies and I fix it because we have a big generation gap now. So we got a lot of guys aging out and we got these young guys coming in who couldn't lead you to lunch. Okay. Like they need, because they don't train them. They're not trained. I'm not like, yeah, I'm kind of tongue in cheek, but I mean, they literally can't because no one's trained them. They're good at what they do. So they promote them into leadership and then they tank.
I see a
Then
lot
they're
of that.
hated by
You're right.
everybody. Then they get to be hated by everybody. Okay. Because they don't know what they're doing. So we go in and do that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's what it was for this sharpenthespearcoaching.com. That's my website. You can get a ton of information there. Sharpenthespearcoaching.com. And let's do this because, man, this has been so much fun. I want to give everyone a gift.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go to sharpenthespearcoaching.com, go to my contact, send me a 1-sentence email. I want to make it as simple as I can. Say, Richard, saw you on Bobby's show. Could I get the free audio version of your book?
Love it.
And I'll send it right to you. I'll send you the link. Boom, you got it. You can listen to my book instead of having to read. See how easy I just made your life? Driving along and listen. But there's a downside. There is a downside. You have to listen to me read it for like 2.5 hours. So if that is going to bum you out, if this has been nails on a chalkboard, like don't get the book, audio book. But it is me reading it.
Man, you something else. So that's the downside. Are they gonna have you shouting in their ear?
That's right. It's very emotional.
Gosh, man, I tell you, that is incredible, dude. And look, what a generous offer, by the way. And I'm sure we got a lot of folks that are going to take advantage of that and reach out to you. And I appreciate you sharing that and your contact information. But here's what I like to end the show at, Richard. I want you to just take a couple moments and drop some words of wisdom on our audience is, just to capsulate what you have talked about and shared as we get ready to close out. Just some things you feel like that they really need to know to add value to their lives to be more productive leaders.
Yeah, I can boil it down to 3 words, okay? And it's do hard things.
Hmm.
You absolutely have to challenge yourself on the regular. Like, okay, you're going to train, you're going to do a marathon. That's cool. But the saying, what have you done for me lately? Okay. Yeah. It doesn't mean you go run a marathon, then take a break for a year till you come up with the next. I mean, hard things for me, like working out, I love it.
Hmm.
So I will go and if you saw me this morning doing just my battle rope workout and squats, so 350 squats, I've done 24 sets of battle. I'm like nuts, right? Just dripping. So it doesn't count as a hard thing for me.
Right.
I don't get to say that's my hard thing because I enjoy it. Okay. Now working on a computer, working business, hate it. That's my hard thing. Okay. So doing that kind of stuff. So there's, so hard things are they're relative is my point. Like it doesn't mean, maybe it's actually talking to your son every day, like spend 20 minutes doing that. Right. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. We didn't get into all that. That's next episode. We'll do another one on all that because I got stuff. But I want you to just embrace that doing hard things is a good thing. You need to live in discomfort. Okay. And I do it real simple. We talked about Wisconsin and the temperature. Like it's literally can be 30 below. Okay. I've got like a 300-foot driveway to get to the mailbox. So in the winter, I'm not kidding, I go out in shorts, a t-shirt, bare feet, doesn't matter snow, and I walk all the way to the mailbox, 30 below, get my mail, and I don't run, not in a hurry, and I stroll, and I come back. Guess what? I didn't die. I didn't get frostbites. Okay. What I did is I took the whatever 2.5 minutes that takes, right? Like to suffer a little bit, to feel discomfort and live in that. Just like I get done with the shower, right? Nice warm shower. Turn that sucker to cold. take 30 seconds of that ice cold water in your body as you shake and lose your breath and everything else, and then turn it off and get out. Okay. You did a hard thing, but it's actually really good for your body, and so those are little tiny things you can do to start building that desire for hard things. Put your body through stuff, a lot of different things. So the do hard things is the big parting words.
I love it, man. And I think that's a mic drop moment right there where we can encapsulate this whole episode into that piece right there, because it's where the battles are won. It's where success is garnered and gained, and doing the hard things. And it's the challenge that most people face, because we love comfort and ease. The thing about comfort and ease, there's no growth there, and there's no progress there.
And
And
it actually
and so
kills. Comfort kills.
Yeah, it does, literally.
It shortens lifespan. It
It
shortens your
certainly
lifespan.
does. Right.
It's
You're
proven.
absolutely right, man. And so I love what you just shared. Richard, man, this has been a blast. Man, this has been one of the best shows that I've had the most fun on. And I don't know, man. I don't know if you might have missed your calling to be on stage somewhere telling some jokes or something. I don't know.
I think, I don't know, but I have been on a few hundred podcasts. I've hosted a few hundred with my Sharpen the Spear podcast. So yeah, I got a little time in the game, but it's like anything, guys, just like leading, you got to practice.
Yeah.
It's all about practice.
Right.
Every
get the reps
appearance is practice.
Yep. You got to get the reps in. You're absolutely right, man. And the more reps you get in, the more practice you get in, the better you become at it. But you've certainly been a joy. And guys, I really appreciate you all tuning in today, and make sure you take advantage of the offer that Richard made mention of. And I certainly appreciate you guys joining us. And until next week, you all have a good rest of the day. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.